Alright guys, in this session today we're just going to take a look at 6.1 Divisibility Day 2. So just as a rule here before we move on, you should be pretty familiar with these divisibility rules. You can take a look back at them anytime you need to. But basically 2 works when it's even, 3 if you add up the digits and 3 goes into it, 4 if 4 goes into the last 2 digits, and so on. So use that, review it, and when you're ready, let's move on and look at some applications for divisibility. Here's our first application where you're actually just going to find which numbers go into a certain number, so which ones are divisible. And we can make a yes-no chart. So if we look at the number 192 and just work your way through the divisibility list. Does 2 work? Yeah, it's even, so for sure. Does 3 work? Well, you got to add up the digits. Does that add up to a sum that 3 will go into? Sure it does, so 3 works. 4 works if you can divide into the last 2 digits. So does 4 go into 92? Check it out. Yes, it does, evenly. So 4 works. 5, no, that won't work. It doesn't end in a 5 or 0. Check 6. 6 always works if 2 and 3 work. 7 we don't look at. 8, you have to look at all 3 digits, and it has to be even. So 8, yes, it does go in there. 9 is similar to 3, so does 9 go into 12? Nope. And 10, no, because it does not end in 0. So part of what you'll practice today is just making yes-no charts to find out which numbers are divisible into the given number. Okay? You may need to pause and rewind that if you want to look at it again. That's really just going through your list of divisibilities and checking whether it's yes or no. Okay? When you're ready to move on, here we go. Here's a second application, finding the factors of a number. You can't find the factors unless you know the divisibility rules. Now, factors are the product of 2 or more numbers. So when you multiply 2 numbers and you get the given number. So let's look at the number 18. What can we multiply to get 18? Now I like kids usually to think of this as kind of a sandwich. Okay, so you have the top and the bottom of your sandwich, and always start with 1 because 1 always works. 1 times 18. So that's the top and the bottom of your sandwich. And you want to keep working your way into the middle and so that until you have no more numbers left to work with, because then you know that you've covered everything. So 1 times 18. Our next step would be to go through 2. Does 2 work? 2 times 9. Okay. Does 3 work? Yep. 3 times 6. And then what you have in between 3 and 6 is 4 and 5. Neither of those work, so you know you're done. You haven't missed any. So when it asks how many factors are there in 18, so how many factors does 18 have? There are actually 6 if you count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 factors of 18. Okay, so that's kind of another way we can use divisibility rules to locate factors. You can't perfect your factors unless you know if they can be divided into the number evenly. Okay, you may want to pause and rewind here to make sure you understand it. But if you're ready to go, let's look at our last one here. One final application here for divisibility is with some geometry. So a rectangle has an area of 24 inches squared. What are all the possible dimensions of this rectangle? Okay, and just remember the area is of any rectangle is length times width. So we're thinking of what 2 numbers can we multiply to get 24? Okay, so again, start with your factors, start with your sandwich, start with 1. Does 1 work? Yes, of course. 1 times 24, and that rectangle would look like that. Long and skinny. 1 on one side, 24 along the other way. So a long, skinny rectangle. What's another possible factor of 24? And go through your divisibility list. Does 2 work? It sure does. 2 times 12. That rectangle would look like this. Much shorter, but twice as wide. 2 wide, 12 deep. Okay? What's another factor of 24? Go right up your list. Does 3 work? It does. 3 times 8. So this rectangle, again, just a little bit wider and a little bit shorter on the length. 3 by 8. And the next one. Do we have another one? Go up your list. 4. Yeah, 4 works. 4 times 6. Again, approaching more square-like here. And next you would check is something between 4 and 6, which is 5, and 5 doesn't work. So you know you've gotten all of the possibilities there. So for a rectangle that has an area of 24, these are the 4 possible sets of dimensions. And you could say there are 4 dimensions for this rectangle. So depending on which shape you want, you can pick. If it's like a rug for a hallway, you would pick the long skinny one with an area of 24 square inches. Or if it's more for one area in your living room, then you probably want the more box-like one, which is 4 by 6. Okay? All right, all you need to do at this point now is just show me your notes, and when they're set with that, you can get your homework. Good luck.